Hey folks, thanks again for attending. We've got, as mentioned, I think a really great presentation for you today. We're going to talk about some Android forensics, particularly using viaExtract CE. CE stands for Community Edition. This is going to be released within the upcoming few days. The release is pretty imminent and it's pretty exciting. Again, it's going to be a community edition of our popular viaExtract software. A little bit about these viaTalks. These are weekly talks that we do that cover mobile forensics, mobile security. Besides mobile forensics, many of you may know we're a mobile security company as well. We've got an app out there and a mobile security product as well. And we do these each week, and we use the hashtag viaTalks on Twitter. So if you're interested in finding out about previous viaTalks, any videos that we've done, you can search that hashtag. You can see any recordings, any clips that we have, and also if you have questions during this viaTalk, go ahead and tweet them to us at the hashtag viaTalks, and we'll see them there. You can also post them in the questions pane on your right-hand side. Without further ado, our presenter today, as mentioned, is Tom Anderson. He is a mobile security engineer and also team lead for our wonderful viaExtract mobile forensics product here. He's been in forensics R&D, software dev for 8 years, and he's been with us for about a year and a half now, and has just done some wonderful stuff with, if any of you are familiar with our burner tools, and also our viaExtract product as well. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Tom.
Hi, thanks, Kevin. Okay, so yeah, as Kevin mentioned, I'm just going to talk through our new product, which is viaExtract Community Edition. Okay, but first of all, I'm going to just give you a brief overview of our main viaExtract product. Some of you may be already familiar with this. It's an Android forensics tool. It gives you the ability to perform a full physical, a file system, a logical, or an ADB backup of a connected Android device. We provide multiple root exploits to help you to root your device, as well as some Android tools and some analysis tools to help you look through that data that you get out. And then at the end of all of that, we provide an advanced customizable report to display your data. Also at the bottom there, as you can see, we have got iOS support coming really soon. We're quite excited about that. So just stay tuned and look out for the update in the next few months. Okay, so our viaExtract tool has 4 key points that we believe give you everything you need to successfully complete forensic analysis. The first stage is to acquire the device. That's anything from helping you to enable USB debugging, unlocking the screen lock, and then rooting your device. And then we can then extract the data using one of the multiple acquisition types that we mentioned on the previous slide. Then you're able to analyze that data, browse through that, search for any key terms that are of interest to you, and also use things like our timeline, which is a really cool new feature that I'm going to show you shortly. And then finally, we can move on to the reporting, and we enable you to generate that report in HTML, PDF, or JSON. Okay, so first of all, what's the Community Edition? Well, the Community Edition is our completely free, completely unlimited, in respect to time, version of viaExtract. We allow you to extract as much data from as many devices as you want, and we also give you all of our Android tools and root exploits to do that. And then when you've extracted the data from the device, you can browse through it, search, and use our analyst tools, which are available in the full version of viaExtract. Okay, so how do I get viaExtract Community Edition? Again, we wanted to make this as simple as possible, so when it's released, hopefully in the next few days, you can just go onto our website, there'll be an ISO image for you to download, or a VM that's already set up and ready to use. Just get those up and running, register the product, and then you're ready to go. Alternatively, if you like to roll your own, you can download a Santoku Linux ISO, which is the base Linux operating system that we use for viaExtract, and then install our PPA and dev packages from our website. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about our tools now. The first tool is the screen lock bypass. The screen lock bypass tool installs just a small application onto a device, which enables you to bypass any lock screen, so PIN or password or pattern locks on the screen. And this works with any Android device from 1.5 to 4.4. Obviously, this actually requires ADB to be enabled because we're installing it over USB. So for devices that are on 4.2.2 and up, where secure USB debugging was introduced, you will also have needed to pair the device before you can use this tool. So you can actually enable ADB. Okay. And then we have our gesture decode tool as well. If you can obtain the gesture.key file or the SHA-1 hash of the gesture, either via JTAG or via an ADB pull command on an unlocked rooted device, you can just put that into our gesture decode tool, and then it will display the resulting pattern to unlock the device in the UI. Okay, so next is our root wizard. This is a really useful feature. I mean, we've got root exploits now for that cover Android devices from 1.5 to 4.3. We've got a great R&D team here at viaForensics. They're always working to add more exploits to this. In the last few months, we've added 2 or 3 new exploits, and as I say, we've got several in the works at the moment. One requirement we have as a forensics product is the root exploit must only give temporary root. Obviously, making any permanent changes to the device is a big kind of forensics no-no. So we try and avoid that, and we just give you those temporary roots, so you know once the device has been restarted, the root is gone and the device is back to normal. On the right hand side there, you can just see a little screenshot of the root exploit wizard. There's a drop down there. You can just click that drop down, and then all of the available exploits for your device will be shown, and you can just run through and test those out. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. This is really down to the device, but normally we've got one in that will work for you. Also, we've found a lot of the new permanently rooted devices that we see. ADB shell is not actually running as root anymore how it used to be. I think the guys that make these exploits now realise that running shell permanently as root is a bad idea. So what we have as well is we have a small tool which tests to see if the device has already been rooted, and if it has, it runs a small script which stops the shell running as user and then restarts it as root, which enables us to do the file system extraction on your device. Okay, so I'll just do a little video demonstration now of the ADB being restarted as root. So you can see from the interfaces here that we've got backup and logical extractions are available, but the file system and the physical are grayed out, and that's because the device isn't being detected as rooted. Just popped up the terminal there, just doing the ADB shell command. You may just be able to see that we're just running as user at that point. So I've just started up the root wizard, and then the first point is to test for the super user binary. This is the binary which gets installed when the device is rooted. This part you can just very quickly see there that the binary is detected, the script is run, and then it's been successfully restarted as root. and now in the interface we have access to the file system of physical extractions. This terminal window now just shows quickly that you can see we now have root. Okay. So the first extraction type, probably the most common extraction type for a forensic acquisition, is the logical extraction. In our case, for Android devices, we install just a small application onto the device. Some of you may already be familiar with this. It's called AF Logical. We have an open source edition which is available on GitHub. What this does is it gets installed onto the device, and then it communicates with the device and asks for certain key data types, and then this data gets sent back over USB to viaExtract, and then viaExtract receives that data, decodes it, and then shows it in the UI. One key feature for this type of extraction is that root is not required. Okay, so I'll just do another video demonstration. Okay, so you can click the Extract button. We give you the option to enter an evidence name, number. You can also select the time zone that your device is in. This is automatically selected based on the device, and then just select your extraction type. This just gives you a brief overview of what we do with the logical extraction and installing the application. Okay, so now you can see that the extraction is running. There's a task tab there which gives you an overview of the progress of your extraction. The content type is displayed in the UI while the extraction is still ongoing, and you can just click through that data and have a look at the records in the UI. Here you can see the Bluetooth information is shown, and then the SMS as well. It's just displayed briefly there. You can, if I just pause that at this point, you can see when you click on a record in that top part of the UI, the actual complete record is displayed below, so you can look through that information and see the full message there. Okay. The next type of extraction is an ADB backup. This is the standard backup mechanism that was introduced into Android 4.0 and above devices. This essentially allows you to back up any apps that have that allow backup of their data, and again, root is not required for this type of extraction. You can just see a small screenshot there of what happens on the device. When this backup gets initiated, the user actually has to interact with the phone for this and allow the backup to happen. Okay, so another short video. Okay, so just the same principle again. You enter the evidence name, you enter the evidence number, select your extraction type, and then the wizard for that related extraction type pops up. In this case, you've got the option of performing an ADB backup on the connected device, and you can also import an already backed up device file. This is an AB file which gets created. Another useful option at the bottom there is the SQLite database recovery. This is a new feature which we've introduced 2 releases ago, and this will actually carve through the SQLite databases and recover any non-active records in that database. Okay, so I'm going to leave that check for this. If you have a password set on the device, on the backup, sorry, you can enter it there, and then when you're ready to go, you just hit forward, and then the backup begins. Unfortunately, with the ADB backup, how it works is the data is backed up on the device first, and then the complete backup is sent to viaExtract, so we can't display the data as we go in this case. As this takes a little bit of time, normally anywhere between 4 to 10 minutes. I've kind of just done a little bit of a time skip there on the video. You can see the extractions completed there, and again you can see the extracted data types on the left, which you can open and browse through. In this example, I just open up the Maps My Places artifact, which is part of Google Maps. It's just if the user stars at a location, and that just appears in that database. Okay, now onto the final extraction. This is a file system. This extraction type does require root, but it's also the extraction type that gets you back the most information. What it does is it queries the device for all the available partitions. We allow you to select the partitions that you want to back up, and then we extract all of the files off from each of those partitions. When those files are extracted onto the computer, we then process those files automatically, and again we allow you to browse through and analyze the extracted information. Okay, so again for this one we're just entering the name number and select the extraction type as file system. The next window that comes up gives you an overview of the partitions that are available. In this case it's user data, system and cache. You can select whichever ones or deselect which ones you don't want. And again we have the SQLite database recovery option available there to carve any non-active records. Okay, again, as you can imagine, this is quite a long process, too long for this demonstration, so shortly you should do a time cut on this. Again, this really depends on the device, but it can be anywhere from say 20 minutes to an hour to complete this acquisition. Then when it does that, it will just do a quick extracting the artifacts there, then you can read that, and then when it's done you get the tick in the Tasks tab and you can view the data in the project window. With the file system extraction as well, the files are available on the disk for you to look through manually as well. Okay, so again you've got the extracted artifacts in the left hand side there. I've opened up the maps again on this one. This is the same database that you get from the backup, but obviously with the file system extraction you get a lot more databases as well. And here I'm just briefly showing you the SQLite recovery tool. In this case I have some calls and some downloads recovered. This just gives you the information here. As it's recovered non-active data, it's not always as pretty as what you'll get in the analyzed artifacts or the content types, but that could be useful information still for you to go forward. So, okay, so the next stage is the analysis. Once you've got that extracted data, you want to do things with it, search for it. So we provide 4 useful tools. We have the timeline, the global search, content filters, and artifact viewer. I'm just going to go through each of those with a brief video demonstration again. So the timeline first. This is actually a really cool feature. Again, this has only been introduced in the last few releases. You just open up the timeline there. This is a logical extraction that I did previously. On the right hand side here you've got the legend, which shows you all the different content types that are shown, and you can select and deselect those to reduce the amount of data in the timeline. As you can just see there, I just clicked on the big columns there, and each time you click on that it actually increases this frequency here. So it starts out as years, and then it goes down into months, and then days, and it goes right down to minutes. For this demonstration, I don't have a whole lot of information on this device. It's just a test device, so I've just stuck with days here, but you can just see the different data that's available for the different days. And then on the left-hand side here, we have each day is shown there. You can expand that, and then you can actually see the individual artifacts there with all their information when you click on one. Okay. Okay, so the next one was global search. Sorry, just skipping over that a bit quickly. I think there's a bit of a delay on my computer. This was is another very new feature. We've just introduced this into the last release. As you can see here, this was done after I did my extraction demonstration, so I have a logical backup and a file system extraction already in place. You just hit the search tab at the top there, and then just type in your search query and hit go. And then what this does is it searches all the open projects at the time. You can see here the acquisition name is shown against the content type, and then you can click on each individual record and then see the content associated with it. So just in this case, it was a calendar from the backup acquisition, and this is an account that's associated with a logical acquisition. As I say, this has just been introduced, so there's a lot of cool new features that are in the works for this, so again, stay tuned for that. Okay, the next is the content filters. Now this is various filters that we have on the content type in the UI. For this example, I've got the NADB backup, which has several thousand external media artifacts. Obviously too much for you just to search through. So what we have here, we've just got some basic filters, so you can just click on any of the columns, which will automatically sort it by that column. And then you can click those records and view the data. We also have the date filtering. In this case, we have 3 different date columns: date added, date modified, and date taken. And what this drop down here, which I'm just demonstrating, does is allows you to select which date column you want to filter by, and then you just click in the from box there, and you can select the date that you want the records to be from. You can also select the to, but in this case I don't select that, so it will just select anything from that date. And you can just see I've got it down to a lot less records. And then finally, you can clear any filtering you've already done. And then the final box there is a search box. So in this example, I'm just searching for the word screenshot. Click find, and then it should present all the files which have the word screenshot in the title. Okay, and then finally onto the artifact viewer. This is a really useful tool if you want to go deep into the analysis side of things. We let you do that. So here I've got a file system extraction. In the left-hand side, beneath the content types, we have the file system browser tab, so you can click that open, and then you can see here these are all the files and the folders that have been extracted with the file system extraction. You can click on individual files. Here I clicked on the gestures.key file, and it shows you that just in a little preview window to the right. And also if you double click that file, it will open up into the artifact viewer, which is what I'll do with this downloads.db file. This is an SQLite file, so as you have a different viewer for the SQLite files. We show the tables and the number of rows in those tables in the top box, and then beneath that we can actually show the content. So what I'll do here is I'll just show you what you can do. The downloads artifact is open. there's 6 different. Sorry, I just paused that. There were 6 different downloads in the downloads content type. There, and then you can also see those in here. We've opened the file now into an external viewer, which is just part of the Santoku Linux. And then what we'll demonstrate now is the different view types. So if we have the hex view, so you can see the raw hex data there. We also have the strings function, which is a really great function. You just hit the start button there, and it will just show you all the strings that you can find in that file. And this is a really useful tool, and why I showed you those downloads content types earlier. Here I've highlighted there's a Facebook video, which I hadn't noticed before in the downloads content type. So I just sort of go through those, and you can see as I go through those, there's no video files and there's nothing associated with Facebook that's being shown in that SQLite database. Again, I can then actually search for the extension .mp4, and it shows me where in the hex view where it actually matches my search. And again, you can see that there's a Facebook video there which wasn't actually reported as live in the downloads database. Then the final feature I'll just show you here is the filtering, which is another really useful feature. At the top there you've got all, which is the default selected. You've also got XML, SQLite, text, image and binary files. And then what I'll do here is I'll just select image type, and then what that actually does is it processes all the files and folders that are there, and it will only display any folders and files which are actually images. So again, you can see that there's a lot less directories or folders shown. You can just browse through those quickly. You can see here, so I've got straight to the camera and I've found a great photo I've taken there. Again, there's another system user directory, and I've just found the wallpaper, so it just helps you get to what you want a lot quicker. Okay, so that's a very brief overview of what you can do with the viaExtract Community Edition. So now we're going to open it up for some QA.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. That was great. We are running short on time right now, so we're only going to take 2 questions, but please send in your questions and we will answer them at a later time. So the first question we're going to ask is, do you have to root the device to use the Android passcode bypass feature?
So the question was, do you have to root the device to use the Android passcode bypass feature? No, that's the great thing about the passcode bypass feature. The only thing you do need, as I mentioned briefly, is the device must have USB debugging enabled. And then we just send the small file up, and we can bypass the screen lock for you.
Okay, and then I just wanted to mention to everybody that these videos are going to be posted on YouTube at youtube.com/viaprotect, both the full webinar video and the individual videos that Tom was showing us. So please go ahead and check that out afterwards. And the last question we're going to answer today is, what are the differences between the CE and regular versions?
Okay, good question. So the CE, as I said, is not limited by time or anything like that. The only thing that we do actually limit on for the CE version is the extraction type. I mentioned physical extraction at the beginning. We don't actually provide that with the Community Edition. And then also the reporting, there's no reporting functionality in the Community Edition. It's not intended to be used on actual evidence items for actual cases. It's just there for our community users and to test our product.